Let's get back to our top story. President Trump threatening 50% tariffs on the EU starting June 1st. Joining us now from Europe, Bloomberg's Brendan Murray. Brendan, welcome back to the programme, sir. Only a few hours ago, we were talking about the situation between the EU and the US. This is difficult to deal with. The president says the Europeans have been very difficult. Brendan, what is the state of play with conversations?
Well, the state of play is that neither side has agreed to the terms that the other side has put forth. So we're pretty much at loggerheads. There's going to be a phone call later today between the trade negotiating teams in Brussels and in Washington, and they're going to try to get things on track. But at the moment, the EU-U.S. trade talks are at a standstill. And you saw what the president tweeted this morning: a 50% tariff on European imports would be pretty devastating to that relationship. So don't know if that was a sort of motivational attempt for the president to try to get Europe to see things more the way he wants them to. He listed in this post on True Social the VAT tax and stiff corporate punishments and something something about monetary issues, and so kind of vague language, but pretty much of a laundry list that he wants Europe to address. Apparently, Europe's not willing to do so at this point.
Brendan, do we have a sense of what the catalyst was for this truth this morning? You talked about how it's unclear whether this is just to get some more concessions, but is there any sense of what triggered it?
Yeah, you could make a case that it's this conversation that the two sides are going to have today to kind of add some fresh threats to those talks. Chinese President Xi Jinping has been calling around to European leaders this week, saying, "Hey, let's try to keep our relationships close on the economic front." So it's hard to say what the motivation was, but there was definitely a reminder this morning that the president wanted to send that he still wields this tariff threat, and he can do some economic damage with it if he follows through. Now, we've seen him make big threats like this before and pull back, so we'll have to wait and see if that's what happens in this case.
Brendan, for those following at home, do we know when that call is going to take place?
We don't know. It's sometime, before you would think in the first half of the U.S. day, given the time difference. But we don't know. Our reporters will be hitting the phones, trying to get readouts about what exactly they agree or still disagree on.